Hello, fellow nerds and book lovers. Welcome to Ridcully's book review. Today we're going to be going over another Ringo book. This is the third book. John Ringo and Julie Cochrane, Honor of the Clan. It is the third book in the Callie and final book in the Callie's War series, published in 2009. If you have the audiobook, once again, it's read by Mark Vitor. I think he does a really good job on all of the books. This book would be probably a Die Hard 2, Die Hard 3 type book. Definitely a sequel book, not as good as the original or the Postling War series that came before in the spin-off series. If you like the characters are good. Buckley is one of my favorite characters, and he's an artificial intelligence computer. Everybody's PDA has a Buckley personality. He's really fun. He's really enjoyable. Papa, Callie, Mike, Mosevich, Jake, DAG, a few new personalities, the old personalities. All the characters are really interesting characters, and that's what makes a book fun to read. And this book has some really fun characters in it. It's got some really fun situations. It's got some fun storytelling. But kind of like Die Hard 2 or Die Hard 3, if you're just enjoying the characters, if you're just enjoying, their reactions and their situations, it's enjoyable. But I think it breaks down a little bit if you stop and think about the plot. I think the plot isn't as good as some of the other books. There's a lot of parts in the plot that either I don't understand or they didn't make sense. It could just be that I can't make sense of them. Let me know if I'm wrong, of course. But there's a lot of parts of the plot that if you stop and think about them, or at least when I stopped and thought about them, that they seem to break down. Things that just didn't make sense. Some of what I call the Marauders map moments. It's a continuation of the Galactic Empire, the Darhel, and the politics in between the different galactic races that have came to save Earth. In the previous books from the Postling, the alligator centaurs, and the Darhel, the political leaders of these galactic races are not wanting to lose their political power. And so they're trying to crush the humans, pretty much, that they see as a rival. The Indui are almost organic robots. They're easily manipulated. They're very naive. The Darhel control, I think, trillions of them, because they don't understand contracts or self-worth, and they have rules, and so they follow the rules and don't question that the rules might not be right to follow. So the Darhel are controlling them, and then the crabs are the scientific and the intellectual part of the Galactic Empire, and they just can't be bothered to take out the trash or to keep the lights running. So they want the Darhel to do that for them, and they don't care about the Indui. It doesn't appear that the Darhel can really control the crabs. The crabs seem to be on their own. And this book looks at the politics and that, and it really kind of makes you hate the crabs. I mean, they're alien and they're consistent, so fine, whatever. But it really makes you realize that they have that they don't care if billions of the Indui die. They don't care if all of the human race dies. It's just uninteresting to them, not important to them in their pursuit of higher intellect or science or whatever they're pursuing. So, this book delves a lot into that realm and how humans play, and specifically the characters in the book, how they're caught up in this galactic game. It's a book worth reading. I enjoyed it. Like I say, I think I've went through it about 4 times now. And this time I enjoyed it the least because I was stopping to think about the plot and taking notes and trying to think about what I wanted to talk about. And so in doing that, I questioned the plot and got thinking about powers and setups and possibilities and alternate ways that the story could have went. And so, that pulls you out of the story, and instead of just enjoying the characters and their interactions, it makes it harder. So don't think about the plot, and you'll enjoy the book. Kind of like watching, once again, Die Hard 2 or Die Hard 3. Just enjoy the actors, enjoy the scenes, and you'll enjoy it. At this point, I'm going to give the spoiler alert. So from this point on, we're going to go into some specifics about what happened in the book. If you haven't read the book yet, turn off the review at this point and come back and watch it after you've read the book. I've been told by a couple of people that after I get done with my reviews, they still don't know what the book was about. So I'm going to try and remedy about that. I appreciate the feedback and knowing, what I can do better in these videos. So I'm going to try and just give a quick, few part, step-by-step, overlying view of what happened in the story. Basically, this book continues where the last one left off, and there's an interaction, and we find out that the head of the Baden Shea is a Darhel. And this Darhel, trying to pick up the pieces that were left from the last book when Winchon was killed, one of the human mentats, he believes that a war is about to break out. And so he calls the crabs in and warns them, look, your actions in letting Winchon be killed and this Darhel group being economically destroyed is going to set off a war. You guys need to fix this. And the crabs hadn't seen it like that, and apparently he convinces them. So a couple plot twists right from the start sets up the crabs as idiot savants, I guess. But before the crabs have fixed everything, the Baden Shea has, because of Winchon's being killed, the Baden Shea have pretty well cut off and are leaving the O'Neill Baden Shea to wither on the vine again. That they don't want anything to do with these homicidal, bloodthirsty, raving killer maniacs of the human Baden Shea. And so the O'Neill's Baden Shea is financially isolated and in a lot of financial danger. We'll put a pin in that question. A lot of that doesn't make sense to me. We'll keep going with the story. Papa is sent as a diplomat to talk with the crabs and try and fix the political rift that's happened. Because the Epitar group had been destroyed, one of the leaders of the Epitar group suicides. Darhel goes into Lentate and puts out hits on all kinds of Induis all across the galaxy. Now, it seems to be that the hits are targeting the Baden Shea, but you find out that all the Indui are the Baden Shea. So I'm not really sure if he knew that the hits he put out were the Baden Shea, or if he was just putting out hits against the Indui who he thought might have been on the stations and might have influenced the fall of the Epitar group, of their economic company. It doesn't explain why he targets the Indui that he does target, but by luck or by design, it's targeting the Indui Baden Shea, who have just turned their back on the O'Neills, and now they're being hunted and killed, and the only hunter-killers that they have to call upon are the O'Neill Baden Shea. During all this turmoil, another Darhel, not the Gin, we find out is the leader of the Baden Shea, but Dalron finds out that the Darhel that was killed in the last book, Pardal, was killed by humans, and so the truce that the Darhel had with the Baden Shea, he says, is off, and so he hires a bunch of thugs. Well, he tells Johnny, basically his head thug, to hire a bunch of thugs and go. The war is back on. They're killing Darhel. We're going to start killing Baden Shea. We'll put a pin in that, because if the truce is ended, Darhel heads should be rolling, but they don't. But anyway, we'll keep going from there. The story goes on from there. The thugs that were hired by Johnny and Bobby, his lieutenant, they don't really know where the Baden Shea are, but they do know that the DAG has went over to the Baden Shea. And so they can find a few of the dependents, a few of the family safe houses from DAG, which weren't hidden as well. They find them, and so they send in basic thugs. They call them stalking horse killers to kill the dependents of the family. Now, basically, these killers are being sent in as sacrificial lambs to draw out the Baden Shea, so that when the retaliation comes after them, they can get their claws into some of the real Baden Shea. And the theory is, capture, torture them, get information to lead them back to more of the Baden Shea and keep on attacking the Baden Shea, the O'Neill Baden Shea clan on Earth. Tommy and Callie, some of these dependents are killed. So they said, well, obviously the Darhel's behind this, so we're going to get revenge. We're going to kill the people, these stalking horse killers that have killed these dependents. We're going to go after them. Well, while they're going after them, Papa has this idea to open up an aluminum mine in South America so that they can open up another base, so that they can hide all of these dependents and all these extra people that they've brought into the Baden Shea, and set up a smuggling trade. Put a pin in that, because I don't know why they haven't been doing stuff like that all along, and I don't know why the Baden Shea is dependent at all on the Galactics, but enough of my side stories. We'll just keep going with the story for now. So he's setting up an aluminum mine, a smuggling trade in South America, and all of the Indui across the galaxy that are being hunted by this Darhel group that went under and are taking the money that's left for these hits are being smuggled in, and they're all landing at the Baden Shea base in Indiana. And everybody's worried that all these thousands of people coming into this base for protection will expose the base, and then the Darhel will attack the base. Which, we'll put a pin in that, because I don't know why they would do it that way. I don't know why they wouldn't take precautions. I don't know why everybody would come to that base. I don't understand why you'd come to that base. But I digress. We'll keep going with the story. It turns out that they might have got away with it, but again, the leader of the Baden Shea, which makes me now question if he really is the leader of the Baden Shea or what the story is there, he decides to give the Darhel Dalron the information pretty well exactly where the base is, so that Dalron can go and attack the base. So while Dalron is setting things up to come and attack this base that again told him where it was, and all of the Indui are running to be safe there at, they'd kill all the lower level killers that had attacked the dependents, that there were the easy pickings, and so they have a big celebration. Right after this celebration, the Darhel Dalron hires the mercenaries to come and attack the base. They're completely unprepared. They get wiped out. So the next step up is he has Iron Mike, which is back on Earth, take the ACS and attack the base. And all of this setup has pretty much been so this confrontation between the good guys Iron Mike and the ACS and the good guys Baden Shea clandestine, secret organization. Well, Papa is going to take out the leader, and he doesn't take the shot to kill Mike when he realizes it's Mike because it's his son, so Mike kills Papa. It set up a dramatic, shocking, emotional scene, but the plot to get there was a lot of questions that I have on, why they ended up in that situation. But in the end, the ACS is coming through the base, and the Hemmet show up with a huge ship and wait at the back door, and everybody runs out of the base and gets on the Hemmet ship and flies off to safety. So that, in a nutshell, is the story of the book. Hopefully for those of you that was concise and simple enough that you have an understanding of the overall plot and storyline of this book. Now I'm going to go back and try and touch base on a couple of those pins that I was talking about. The first one that kind of bugs me is, as far as the plot that I don't understand, is why are the O'Neills the O'Neill Baden Shea so dependent on the Galactics? They have their own Sohan tanks. They have a source of nanites. I don't know if Michelle just won't give them nanites. They have to get them from the crabs. Why they don't have other sources. Why they haven't done stuff like the aluminum mine and branched out. There's Callie's husband, Johnny Stewart, and the Tong have branched out across the galaxy and have a galactic presence apparently on every planet that humans are on. And I don't understand why, the Tong could do it and the Baden Shea can't. So why the Baden Shea are so weak and so susceptible economically, I didn't quite understand, didn't get that part. Why they were in such a precarious situation to start with. The ACS attacking the base, it was all set up so that Mike would confront Papa and Papa would get killed by Mike in this striking emotional scene. But like at the very end of it, the ACS gets to the very end, they've fought the DAG, they've killed a bunch of people, all the DAG suicide rather than being taken alive. And then they get to the very end and there's 20 grams of antimatter, so all the ACS has to run away and then the base is blown up. If it was me and the ACS was coming and I was running everybody out the back door into the Hemet ship, I would have just set up a big barbecue at the very bottom right there with the 20 grams of antimatter. And once they all got down there, I would have just said, hey guys, glad that you're down here. This 20 grams of antimatter is on a suicide switch. Everybody take your suits off. Let's have a conversation. If anybody leaves, you're all dead. I'd bring them into a trap. I'd talk to them. I'd say, why don't you leave all your AIDs and all your suits outside? Let's have a talk. I try and bring them in. There was just a lot of other things that went through my mind at this point. I didn't, with antimatter, with the weaponry, with AIDs, I don't know why you couldn't have had an artificial intelligence take the shot. I don't know why you would have taken the shot. I don't know why you wouldn't have used antimatter booby traps to slow down and kill the ACS instead of just humans. I mean, it's set up so that they're fighting with futuristic technology and weapons as if it was a Vietnam or a Korea or even kind of in a sense World War II battle scene as far as the technology and the tactics. They don't take advantage of the technology. It's just there to use as cool weaponry. So there's a lot of things that once it's established that you have and then they don't get used, if you stop and think about it, you're like, wait, what? Why did you do it that way? So that's why I say the plot, there's a few things I would have liked to seen the plot massaged a little bit better, gave some more reasons why Papa had to take the shot, why they couldn't use an AID, why they couldn't use an artificial intelligence to take the shot, why they wouldn't set a trap with antimatter. If they're setting up ambush points and yet the ACS is able to go around these ambush points and flank them, that by definition that's a really bad ambush point if it can easily be flanked. Why the suburb was done, why everybody was coming to the suburb and that base and then they were being let off in a field out in the open without any camouflage to run into the barn. I just couldn't help but think, why didn't the ship fly into the barn? And then they closed the doors and let everybody out, so it couldn't be seen from satellite. It wouldn't have mattered because apparently they were betrayed. But still, there was a lot of things that they used satellites to find them. And why would you set up anything like that? Why was everybody even going to the base? I don't understand why everybody was going to that base. Wouldn't you spread out in all kinds of different places and temporary places? And if the Hemet were going to help with a ship to get everybody away at the end, what jerks to wait until the end to do it. If they were going to take everybody to a safe place, why didn't they just say it yesterday? It would have been a really good time to know, and then they could have just went straight to the safe place. Just a few conveniences in the plot, a few things that when I think about them, I don't understand. I wish that they would have been worked over a little bit. If you enjoy the book, for the story and the characters, you'll enjoy reading the book. The characters are fun. The situations are, Callie tries to do a St. Crispin's Day speech. If you just listen to it as a speech and the love and caring that the Baden Shea have for the new people coming in, they're going to take care of them, it's an awesome speech. If you stop and think about why the speech is being said, Callie's saying, we're going to go and kill these low-level thugs that killed your family while ignoring the Darhel that sent them, the real problem. We're going to celebrate, this small victory instead of looking at the big picture and really going after the true enemies. Then the speech is kind of like, yeah, I think you're missing the point, Callie. You're not really seeing things very well. So, there's the two different ways to look at it. If you look too hard, it actually makes the book less enjoyable. If you just don't worry about that part, enjoy the characters, enjoy their reactions, enjoy their actions, then it's a really fun book. I'm not going to go through all the rest of my notes. There's way too many. Hopefully that gave you an idea of what the book was about, some of my ideas on, some of the things that I thought about when I was reading it. Please give me your opinions and correct me and tell me if, I missed something, if these plots worked, because there's something I missed, or if you have to make up stuff or say, well, this could have been, then that doesn't really work, because that's doing the job of the author for them. But if there was something I missed, or if there was an explanation that I missed, or it did make sense for a reason, please let me know. I enjoy debating and thinking about these things. I enjoy hearing. I enjoy your feedback. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this book review. Watch my video. I am going to try and go back and start giving a thought for the day. The thought I want to leave you with is, if you give a man a fire, he's warm for a day. If you set a man on fire, he's warm for the rest of his life. That's from Terry Pratchett and Jingo. Thanks again. You have a good night.